So we've talked about data, we've talked about bias, but that really just leads to the biggest question of all. How do we build AI that we can actually trust? This isn't just about writing better code. It's about building a conscience for AI. Let's explore how the world is trying to do just that.
Right, this is the core challenge right here. It's not enough to make AI that just works. We have to make AI that works for us, for our society. So how in the world do you build a moral compass directly into a machine? That's the huge puzzle we're going to try and tackle today.
And here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll break down what an AI ethics framework actually is. Then, we'll get into the 5 key principles that are really the bedrock of trust. We'll see how this is all taking shape globally, put it to the test with a real-world example, and then wrap up with a handy checklist you can use anytime.
All right, so first things first, what exactly are we talking about when we use this term AI ethics framework?
Well, you can think of it like a rule book for being responsible. It's a set of guiding principles an organization creates to say, this is what good AI looks like to us. The whole point is to get out ahead of the technology, to build in guardrails before things go wrong.
And honestly, this is the perfect way to picture it. A compass. A compass doesn't draw the map for you, right? But it makes sure you're always heading in the right direction. And that's exactly what these frameworks are meant to do, to keep AI pointed towards human values, not just, raw technical power.
Okay, so if it's a compass, what is it pointing to? Well, while different organizations might phrase things a bit differently, there's a really powerful consensus forming around 5 core principles.
And you're going to see these 5 ideas pop up almost everywhere. It all starts with number 1, do no harm. That's the basic fundamental idea that AI should be a tool for good. Then we have fairness, which means we have to actively fight against the kinds of biases we've talked about before. Third is transparency. You should always know when you're dealing with an AI and its decisions can't just be some mysterious black box. Then, and this is so crucial, there's accountability. We can't just throw up our hands and blame the algorithm. A real human being has to be responsible. And finally, all of this is built on a foundation of privacy and security, protecting our data and our rights. These 5 pillars, they're really the foundation of trust.
And let me be clear, this isn't just some theoretical idea floating around in a university. Major international groups are creating their own rulebooks, and believe it or not, they're all starting to look surprisingly similar.
Just take a look at 2 of the heavy hitters, the OECD, which is a group of developed nations, and the European Union. The OECD talks about being human-centered, safe, and accountable. The EU wants AI to be lawful, ethical, and robust. Are you seeing the pattern here? The wording is a little different, but the core idea, safe, responsible, human-first AI, it's exactly the same. So here's the key takeaway. Don't get lost in memorizing the specific words on each list. What really matters is that all across the globe, leaders are agreeing on the fundamental ingredients for trustworthy AI. A really powerful global consensus is actually forming.
Okay, this all sounds pretty good on paper, but how does it actually work in the real world? Let's make this a lot more concrete.
Let's imagine a bank is using an AI system to help decide who gets a loan. I mean, this is a super high-stakes decision, right? It can literally change someone's life. This is exactly where an ethics framework goes from being a document to a critical tool.
So, using their framework, the very first question they have to ask is about fairness. Have we stress-tested this model to be absolutely sure it isn't systematically biased against people just because of their zip code or their background?
Next up, transparency. If someone's loan is rejected, can a real person at the bank explain exactly why? Because the computer said no just isn't an acceptable answer. There has to be a reason that actually makes sense to a human.
Then you get to accountability. If the AI gets it wrong, who's responsible? There has to be a clear chain of command, and more importantly, a process for a human to review the decision and fix any mistakes.
And finally, is that customer's sensitive financial data safe? The framework would demand that the bank only uses the information it absolutely needs for that loan decision, and that all of it is rigorously protected from ever being misused.
Okay, so you might not be building a loan approval AI for a bank, but these principles can absolutely be your personal tool for navigating this new world.
Whenever you come across an AI system, you can just run through this simple mental checklist. Is this thing actually helping me? Does it seem fair? Do I understand what it's doing? If it messes up, who's responsible? And is my personal data safe here? If the answers are a bunch of I don't knows, that's a pretty big red flag that the system might not be trustworthy. So let's just lock these in one last time, okay? The core principles guiding responsible AI are do no harm,
promote fairness, demand transparency, ensure there's accountability, and protect our fundamental rights, privacy, and security. These truly are the building blocks of trust.
Now, these principles are the what, but that naturally leads to the how and the who, which is exactly where we're going next time.
Thank you so much for joining this explainer and for digging into these really crucial ideas with us.
We're Knowledge Equity Partners, and our whole mission is to share contemporary, practical knowledge on all sorts of topics that can help make your daily life more effective and efficient.
If you found this content valuable, we'd love it if you'd subscribe to Knowledge Equity Partners. That way you'll get notified about our daily videos. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and help spread this practical knowledge with your family, friends, and community.
Let's together keep the quest for knowledge always high. Coming up next, we're going to move from principles to people as we talk about AI governance and the critical role of human oversight. We'll see you then.